Alright guys, check this out. I'm going to try to do a really quick review video, keep it under 4 minutes, cover all the notes we've been doing in class. Of course, if you don't have these notes or you need to copy it down, then just pause the video. Alright, here we go, 4 minutes. So the first thing we're going to cover is add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators. And what we're going to do is, we have 3/5 plus 1/3. The first thing we need to do is find the least common denominator. The way I do that is I have 5 and 3, and I'm going to do multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, same thing with 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Then I find 15 and 15, and that's our common denominator. My second step is to find the equivalent fraction using the least common denominator. The way I'm going to do that is 3/5 equals how many 15s? Well, 5 times 3 is 15, so I do 3 times 3, and that's 9. Same thing for 1/3. 3 times 5 is 15, so 1 times 5. Then finally I add them together. If I'm going to do subtracting of the fractions with an unlike denominator, I do the same thing as adding. First I got to find my least common denominator. Then I rewrite the equivalent fraction. Remember, 3/4 equals 9/12. 1/6 equals 2/12. Subtract that, that gives me 7/12. Alright, 1 minute in, let's move to our next topic. My next topic is going to be subtract mixed numbers with regrouping. 4 and 1/8 minus 2 and 3/4. First thing I do is find the least common denominator. I did the same system and I found 8. Second thing I do is I write the equivalent fraction. So 4 and 1/8 stays 4 and 1/8, but 2 and 3/4 becomes 2 and 6/8. I realize I can't do 1 minus 6. Can't do it. So now I need to move on. I need to regroup my large mixed number. I'm going to show you 3 ways you can do it. The first way you can do is repeated addition. 4 and 1/8 equals 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1/8. Or 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 8/8 plus 1/8. And that would equal 3 and 9/8. The second way I can do is I can model it. So I have 4 whole circles. They're divided in 8s, just like pizza. However, I'm going to borrow one of them. When I borrow one of them, I get to borrow 8 slices, okay? The final way I could do it, though, is the easiest way. Let me show you on my next notes I did. Right here. I can just subtract with the equivalent fractions. I know I can't do 1/8 minus 6/8, so I borrow from the 3. That gives me a whole. My whole is 8 pieces. My denominator is 8, so all I do is I add my denominator to my numerator, and that gives me 9/8. 9/8 minus 6/8 is 3/8. 3 minus 2 is 1. Alright, moving along. Ooh, this is a speed race. See if I can get it done. I got a minute and 20 seconds. Next, we're going to talk about multiplying fractions and whole numbers. 3 times 2/3, right? But check this out. All you got to do is rewrite the whole number as a fraction. 3/1 is the same as 3 times 2/3. You multiply straight across, and you simplify if needed. That becomes 6/3, which equals 2. Don't forget, you can always pause if I'm moving too quick for you. I know I'm being fast. The other way you can do is multiply fraction by a fraction using an area model. 1/3 times 1/2. The first thing you do is you model out 1/3. Then you model out 1/2. Your numerator is a double shaded area. Your denominator is all the possible squares. So in this case, it is 1/6. Finally, let's talk about multiplication and scaling. Remember, whenever you multiply by something less than 1, it's going to be less than the other fraction you're multiplying. If it equals 1, it's going to mirror that fraction. If it's greater than 1, then it's going to be greater than that fraction. For instance, 3/8 times 1/7 is less than 1 because 3/8 is less than 1. 4/4 times 1/7 is equal to 1/7 because 4/4 is equal to 1. The product of 9/5 times 1/7 is greater than 1/7 because 9/5 is greater than 1. Alright, final topic, 20 seconds. I don't think I can do it, but let's see. Our final topic is going to be divide unit fractions. 1/3 divided by 4. Well, the 1/3 represents how many I have. The 4 represents sharing groups. Whenever I have a fraction divided by a whole number, I'm going to draw an area model. First, I'm going to draw out 1/3. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to use these little lines and I divide it into 4s. Then I want to know what that individual single unit fraction is. Well, that's going to be 1 out of 12. 1/12. The next thing I can do is I can divide a whole number by a unit fraction. A unit fraction is a fraction with a numerator of 1. So 4 divided by 1/3. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write a number line of 4. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that number line into 1/3. So look, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 1. I do that all the way to 4. Now all I have to do is count as many sections as I need, and that would be 12 sections. The final way I could do this is I could do it with KFC. KFC. All that means is keep, flip, change. So if I have 1/3 divided by 4, and I want to use the KFC method, 1/3 stays the same. Keep. We find the reciprocal of 4, which is 1/4. which is the flip. And then we change the sign from multiplication and division. That right there would give me 1/12. There you go. That is fractions in 5 minutes. All right, good luck tomorrow.